Symbiosis Golden Jubilee lecture series today, where the lecture on social media and social security and criminal justice system reforms, an unfinished agenda, will be delivered by Honorable Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, Union Cabinet Minister for Law and Justice, Communication and Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. I'm Professor Dr. Bindu Ronald, Deputy Director, Symbiosis Law School, Pune, who will be comparing the event today. To begin the event, may I request Dr. Shashikala Gurpur, Director, Symbiosis Law School, Pune, and Dean Faculty of Law, Symbiosis International University, to deliver the welcome address. To you, ma'am.
Namaste, one and all. As I greet the God in you, I also invoke the universal blessings on each and every one of us, especially the goddess who is the ultimate energy, who is going to give us the words like the flowers on the tree. So today, as I welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, in the presence of our Honorable Chancellor, whom we consider as the Guru of Gurus, Dr. S.B. Muzumdar sir, and our dear mentor and leader, Dr. Vidya Arabdekar Madam, the Pro-Chancellor, and our dear Vice-Chancellor, who is a senior teacher, who has been a great teacher as well, Dr. Rajni Gupta Madam, my dear fellow deans from 6 other faculties, dear faculty from all the institutions, 33 plus institutions, of today it is 37 plus institutions of Symbiosis International University, the extended members of the Symbiosis family in the Board of Management, in the Planning and Development Committee, in our sister institutions under the banner, and also those esteemed invitees and friends of Symbiosis Law School and Symbiosis in general, who have come from all the walks of life from Pune as prominent citizens. Our dear international collaborators who must be present here, because Professor Katerina from Greece, Ioannina University, told me that she would love to listen to the minister, sir. A warm welcome to each and every one of you to this very special occasion of greeting an important portfolio holder, a senior cabinet minister, listening to him on the most grueling topics of this era on social media and social security, and on the unfinished agenda of criminal justice reform. First of all, we are very privileged, sir, to host you, although it is virtual forum on which we are hosting through the Symbiosis Law School, Pune, which is the first member of the higher education family of institutions that Symbiosis began its journey with, to this era, or a golden era, of excellence in higher education in all its facets. Sir, being a servant of this great organization as the director of this Symbiosis Law School, Pune, and also as the Dean of Faculty of Law, which is home to 3 other law schools located in Hyderabad, in Nagpur recently, and then much earlier since 2010 in Noida, I'm very humbled to share with you that our Symbiosis Law School, Pune, has been one of the top 5, top 10 institutions consistently since 2010. So this achievement is possible because of the DNA of Symbiosis in terms of hailing excellence, in terms of being committed to public service and values and ethics. So this is one of the very few law schools who could maintain this distinction alongside being a very active participant in the Symbiosis tradition of private-public partnership. Now, you would have seen in our glorious history that we have been invited by the Ministry of Defense to start our Management Institute. But alongside that, the law school faculty, and I myself as one of the faculty members, have engaged in the Law Commission in 2011 to 2013. And then we have also been participants and winners of honors in terms of earning the project from Maharashtra government on prisoners, under trial prisoners and prisoners in general, on Legal Aid Services Authority. Consistently in the National Legal Services Authority, our presence has been there, aside from a prestigious selection to the pro bono project of the Ministry of Law and Justice. Sir, I'm also happy to share with you that today our alumni decorate the leadership positions in law firms They are sitting judges in Mumbai High Court, that too, 2 women judges who hail from the background of this law school, besides numerous judges in the excellent lawyers across the country, advocate generals, and numerous judges in the municip's position, in the district judge positions across the country. So the distinction of our law school has been, despite the territorial trappings of the law, to be a home for the best internationalization practices. Just this year in the month of February, much before the ravages of the second wave swallowed our happiness, we had the great distinction of being the best law school, best institution for internationalization, which is again continuation of one other DNA of Symbiosis, which is internationalization, which is the prominent DNA. Sir, in today's theme, when we are talking about unfinished agenda, for us, justice is an unfinished agenda as a passion in our education, in training our students with serious commitment to public service, because we have mandatory service internship, we have mandatory orientation to legal skills in terms of training them for different public service positions. We have contributed a number of them to IRS, to judiciary, to Army's judge and advocate general, besides many other public service orientation. Secondly, for us, justice is unfinished agenda. In our research, we are home to the Excellence Center, Symbiosis Center for Advanced Legal Studies and Research, the SCALSAR as we would call it, where we decorate some of the projects, particularly 4 eminent projects from European Commission's funding on 21st century skills, on European legal studies, on looking at climate change and policy and law, migration and international law. Aside from that, our engagement with policy has been in the recently concluded interdisciplinary discussion, where our recommendations are ready for the ministry in terms of the new IT policy. Sir, that's your other portfolio. So for us, this is an unfinished agenda as an educational institution in terms of research, in terms of impacting lives, and in clearly driven impact pathways in one more voluminous work that we turned out to His Excellency, the Ministry of Home Affairs, on criminal justice reforms. Now that the deliberation went on for more than 16 to 20 hours with eminent personalities from across the country before we structured these recommendations in a voluminous 200-page book and sent to the ministry. Sir, as I welcome each and every one of our distinguished panel and faculty, fellow students, and everybody, I also have the honor of telling you that the moment we said you are coming on board as a speaker of this prestigious occasion, many said that there couldn't be anything more timely than these themes. There couldn't be anything more timely than now for a minister to come and address these issues. And some of the students also wrote, I should share with you that, sir, you are our role model. Perhaps for a law, a person committed to legal studies, legal profession, and the cause of justice, life itself is an unfinished agenda, because in our entire life, we could touch only barely on the core painful issue of justice. So, sir, as the humanity has the bleeding wounds of injustice, further exacerbated by the pandemic, pushing millions of people below the poverty line overnight, I think internet is causing, or online communication is causing another problem. So the social media with the use, abuse, information, disinformation, misinformation pose the new challenge as we are depending on online communication and online or virtual interaction on the face of the pandemic. Perhaps this unfinished agenda will be shown some kind of a structure, ethos, and commitment in today's galaxy of speakers and guides under your leadership, sir. So welcome one and all.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for that welcome address. Dr. Vidya Yeravdekar, Pro-Chancellor, Symbiosis International University, is a great leader who has been leading this organization. A gynecologist by profession, she's a person with great ideas and has been taking Symbiosis International University to great heights. Has been part of the UGC and FICCI and is extremely passionate about education and internationalization. And the idea of Symbiosis Golden Jubilee Lecture Series was initiated by Vidya ma'am. And it was her idea to bring eminent personalities to Symbiosis International University and to connect them to students, faculty, staff, alumni, and to all friends of Symbiosis. I now request Dr. Vidya Yaravdekar to address the audience.
Thank you, Bindu. Honorable Minister, Sir, Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, Dr. Muzumdar, Sir, the Chancellor of this university, Dr. Rajni Gupte, the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Shashikala, the Dean of Faculty of Law, and several hundreds of students, sir, who have joined on the Zoom, and several thousands who have joined on YouTube Live also. It gives us great pleasure, sir, to welcome you to the Symbiosis Golden Jubilee Lecture Series. My father, Dr. Muzumdar, sir, will of course talk to you about the story of Symbiosis and how he started Symbiosis. But for me, to fulfill his dream is something that I'm very, very passionate about. And this Golden Jubilee lecture series actually came out of a challenge that we celebrated our Golden Jubilee last year and this year during the terrible times of pandemic. And initially we were really disheartened, but later we were innovative and felt that we could get speakers and eminent people who will talk on different disciplines to our students, like you and several others. And I'm so glad that we could have the Golden Jubilee lecture series virtually with a much, much larger attendance of students, faculty members, and even well-wishers of Symbiosis. And sir, I must tell you today that you are one of the most popular figures, not only of the country, but of our city, Pune. And so many of my friends, have logged in here just because they want to listen to you. And more importantly, listen to you on the agenda of social media and social justice, because you also hail that ministry. For me, sir, I have actually chased your office, and I am sure you'll remember Sarvana Kumarji, who was your OSD and Joint Secretary, then moved on to Ministry of Education. Since his time, I've been chasing so that, you come one day physically to Symbiosis. Late Shri Arun Jaitley ji, who was a very close friend of my father and very close to Symbiosis, also spoke so highly about you. And in fact, I don't know whether he spoke to you, but he did tell me that he wanted Symbiosis to be established in Patna or somewhere in Bihar. And he was after me, ki kuch bhi karo, lekin, I'll tell Ravi Shankar ji to give you land, this, that, but you should establish a law college in Patna. Why should Bihar students go to Symbiosis Pune to study law? And of course, his unfulfilled dream has not been realized by us, but nevertheless, someday we will realize that dream. But let me tell you, sir, that there are a large number of students from your home state who study with us and are doing exceedingly well. And I'm glad that they're doing so well. So just to give a little brief about the university, as Shashikala said, that we are, we have more than 70 plus institutions under Symbiosis Trust, which is also schools, colleges, and of course the university. And most of our schools are doing exceedingly well. The law school is ranked amongst the top 10 in the country, even through the national NIRF rankings released by the government of India. So also our management schools. And our directors are, passionate about what they're doing. In fact, I would say they're obsessed about what they're doing. And therefore, the excellent education does lead to good placements of our students, especially the law students who not only work for law firms, but I'm glad that, whenever we have a case in the Supreme Court, the judges are startled because the whole courtroom gets full of students who have passed out of Symbiosis. And therefore, it's a event to be watched. But nevertheless, sir, in our own little way, we are trying to contribute to the legal system and the agenda of the government of India, as Shashikala has described, and I won't take much time, because we are eager to listen to you and of course to Dr. Muzumdar sir, who will give you a little history of Symbiosis. But I only hope that someday you can physically come to Symbiosis Pune. We also have a law school in Noida and Nagpur and so many other places. But we wish that you come to Pune and see actually personally for yourself the kind of work that we have done. So I once again welcome you to this Golden Jubilee lecture series, and we hope that our association grows further. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Symbiosis was established by Dr. S.B. Majumdar sir, a visionary and a distinguished academician. He established Symbiosis 50 years ago to bring education closer to people and to promote international understanding through quality education. He connected students from not only the country, but across the globe. Sir was awarded Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan for his contribution to the field of education. For him, education is the medium to make the world one family. I now request Majumdar sir to deliver his address.
Namaste, sir. Today's distinguished chief guest, Honorable Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Vidya, Dr. Shashikala Gurupur, faculty, directors, students, and well-wishers of Symbiosis who are watching this wonderful function today. Sir, on behalf of Symbiosis, I extend you a very hearty welcome. I will just briefly narrate the genesis of Symbiosis. Sir, I was professor at botany at Ferguson College, and I was also a rector of one of the hostel blocks. I then realized that Pune, which was and which is still the favored destination of foreign students, these foreign students face considerable, numerous problems. The first problem was, of course, getting admission to good colleges, admission to accommodation in hostels, and so many other things. But the most important problem which Afro-Asian students, and they were mostly Afro-Asian students, faced was that they felt that Pune citizens were not only indifferent to us, but they were discriminating us. Whereas they throw red carpets to white students coming from America, England, France, and Germany, we were neglected. And in a way, it was some kind of apartheid for them. And I realized as a teacher that if we help these foreign students during their student days, if we feel them at home in Pune, they will become our cultural ambassadors of goodwill. And that is how organizations or Symbiosis was born in one small room in my house on Ferguson College campus. So the Symbiosis was officially established and inaugurated on 26 January 1971, and this year we are celebrating our silver golden jubilee celebrations. So Symbiosis thought that education and education alone will bring foreign and Indian students together, promote friendship and brotherhood among them. And that is how we started various colleges, law college, management, IT, communication, media, and so on. And in 2002, the government of India conferred the deemed to be status on Symbiosis institutions. Be that as it may, personally I feel that foreign students are our cultural ambassadors, and India must attract large number of foreign students, whereas lakhs of students from India go to America and Australia and UK. Why not attract large number of students to our country? And this has been our endeavor right from its inception. This organization, sir, has a motto of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And we thought that if foreign and Indian students come together, they live together, they study together, they play together, they will develop friendship, brotherhood, which will ultimately lead to international understanding. And we in Symbiosis do believe that our endeavor is to promote international understanding through quality education. This is, in general, the genesis and profile of Symbiosis. Initially, it was only Symbiosis International Cultural Center. We used to bring foreign and Indian students together, celebrate Diwali, Christmas, Eid, etc. But we thought that education will bring them closer and on a longer tenure. And that is how we started law college, and ultimately International Cultural Center got metamorphosed into International University. This is Golden Jubilee year, sir, and I, as a person who started the idea of Symbiosis, I call Symbiosis as an idea. When two plants and animals come together and help each other, coexistence, interdependence, interrelations. The whole idea of symbiosis is a wonderful idea which will bring people of different countries together. This is how the symbiosis has started. We were very, very eagerly waiting. You said that in 7 years we are not invited. No, sir, it is other way. Or we will require 7 years to bring you here to Symbiosis International University. I hope you will find time to physically interact with our students, and that will be a great day for Symbiosis. Thank you, sir, for your time and accepting our invitation. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, Majumdar sir. You've definitely brought education closer to a lot of people. We now come to the most awaited part of the event, where we have none other than Honorable Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, Union Cabinet Minister for Law and Justice, Communication and Electronics and Information Technology, who will be delivering the lecture. But before I invite sir to deliver the lecture, let me give a brief introduction to sir. Honorable Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad is the Union Cabinet Minister for Law and Justice, Communication and Electronics and Information Technology in the Government of India, headed by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. He is a parliamentarian since 2000 and has been elected as a member of Lok Sabha from Patna Sahib constituency in the general elections of 2019. Under his able stewardship, legislation to criminalize instant triple talaq was enacted, giving justice and relief to innumerable Muslim women. The credit for the revolution in the IT field and promotion of digital services in India can be directly attributed to him. In his capacity as the Union Minister for Communication, he is vigorously pursuing the ways and means to revamp the government-owned telecom companies. Sir was a cabinet minister in charge for the ministries of Law and Justice and Electronics and Information Technology in the NDA government that came into power in 2014. Also, he held the charge of Ministry of Communication for some time. He spearheaded the task of reviving India's telecom sector. His efforts to develop India into a global electronics manufacturing hub is bearing fruit. India is sitting at the cusp of a digital revolution because of the continuous efforts under his leadership. The flagship program of Digital India is an example for the level of perfection when it comes to bringing about good governance by use of information technology. It was the government's priority to repeal obsolete and redundant laws, which he ensured meticulously, and as a result, about 1,428 such laws were repealed. In the government headed by Prime Minister Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he had served the nation as the Minister of State for Coal and Mines. He earned accolades for the total revamp of Coal India Limited and also for initiating reform process in the Coal and Mines Ministry. In July 2002, he was given additional responsibility as a Minister of State for Law and Justice. In this capacity, he played instrumental role in reforming India's electoral system and bringing out great transparency in politics. In January 2003, Sir was elevated in the Union Cabinet as Minister for Information and Broadcasting. It was under his leadership that the reforms in cable television took place and the country was ushered in the digital TV era. The credit of introducing direct-to-home satellite television services in India goes to him. He played a key role in liberalizing the FM radio services in India, and the country witnessed a huge revolution with regard to FM radio and community radio services. By profession, Sir is a senior advocate in the Supreme Court of India. He is a member of Parliament since the year 2000 and has been associated with important parliamentary committees like Finance, Communication and IT, Petroleum and Chemicals, etc. Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad is a very senior leader of the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party and has held very crucial organizational positions of the party at the national level, including National General Secretary, Chief Spokesperson of the party, and head of the media division. He's a widely traveled person and represented India in various international conferences and in the UN. Sir has also been a human rights activist. As a lawyer, he took the cause of under trial prisoners and also argued certain important and landmark cases, impinging upon the propriety and fairness in the political life of the country. He was very active right from his student days and participated in JP movement and courted arrest. He has always stood for human freedom, press freedom, and restoration of democratic values when they were under severe stress. We are very keenly waiting to hear from you, sir. I invite you to deliver the lecture.
Thank you for that long, kind introduction of mine. Appreciate it. Dr. S.B. Majumdar, Dr. Vidya Rivadekar, Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Shashikala Gurpur, other distinguished faculty, students, ladies and gentlemen. At the very outset, Dr. Majumdar, I would like to convey my greetings and respect both to you. And the reason I was keen to come to Pune was not to see your campus, but to meet you personally.
Thank you.
The reason is very simple and straight. In my life as an activist from my student days, which you heard about a little elaborately, I keep on meeting people, businessmen, leaders, those who establish institutions, etc. But I meet few people who are institution builders. Yeah? And I rank you as one of the foremost institution builders of India. Okay. You have a dream. You not only dreamt, but you concretized. And your hard work gave rich dividends that today Symbiosis movement is a benchmark for quality education in all the disciplines, and basically has become a good brand of India. That is how I say institution builders. I've always held the view that government cannot do everything. The initiative of government and the proactive contribution of individual and non-government sector both have to work together to make India what it deserves. And in that laudable objective, I see you playing a very seminal role. Therefore, I convey my greetings and respect to you both. It is wonderful to talk to you digitally, virtually. We are in challenging times. I say in lighter vein, when India was in lockdown under COVID, with no rail movement, no plane movement, no highway movement, it was all my three departments which was keeping the country going together. The communication and the IT and the postal department. I liberalized this whole regime of work from home. And today India's IT industry globally having a powerful presence, 85% work from home is going on. And work from home has been elevated to work from anywhere, a model which the whole world is now replicating. In this COVID, distant digital education has become so comfortable. Digital hearing of cases has become so popular that some lawyers say it is the most comfortable. About 1 crore plus cases have been heard in the district court and the high court and the Supreme Court. And Dr. Shashikala would surely must have heard about it, that her students are more comfortable switching from one channel to another, appearing in Mumbai High Court in the first half, Supreme Court in the second half, Hyderabad High Court in the third half. Okay, and that is what digital law practice has become. We are very happy about it. telemedicine is rising. I'll talk about digital India when I go to the second segment of my speech, because as Mr. Mujumdar, I was given two options. But as I said at the very outset, I'll talk both for access to justice with reference to criminal justice, and then I will talk about digital India and social media. You must understand, when India became free, and this I am saying, Professor Shashikala, more for your law students. When India became free, you must remember the background. India was partitioned on the ground of religion. Nearly 1 million plus people were displaced, and nearly 1 million people lost their life. There was strife, there was commotion. But we need to salute the vision of India's founding fathers. They said, no, we'll go by the democratic route. Because there was a debate in the Constituent Assembly, and sure, your students are being taught about India's Constituent Assembly debates that must be made an important part of education in the curricula. They must know how India evolved post-independence. The debate was, should we go for some kind of a semi-autocratic rule? India is in commotion. Or we should allow whole hog. And finally, the issue was clinched. If India has to progress, India must progress through democracy. The debate should not be whether India is fit for democracy. And therefore, when the Constitution was enacted, when the other parts of the world were still debating, we gave the right to vote for every Indian, regardless of their religion, their faith, their caste, their creed, economic status, or literacy. This trust in the ordinary power of the ordinary Indians today has given rich dividends. And they also trusted India's judiciary as an independent beacon of the fundamental principles of Constitution. And therefore, our preamble begins with the premise: justice, economic, political, social. And Article 38 of the Directive Principles also, the state shall strive. And Dr. Mujumdar, sitting in Pune, you must have experienced personally those challenges. All the challenges which grew in any part of the world, India had to face in its journey post-independence. The issue of caste, the issue of community, the issue of religion, the issue of region, and the issue of language. A situation came when India faced turmoil with deep hostility creeping in. And there came the judiciary of India, which gave profound judgment, which is a great cooling effect over the country. This extraordinary reciprocity between the polity and democracy and the judiciary, with a stellar role having the power of judicial review, has to be appreciated. Therefore, ordinary Indians trust the judiciary today, and that's good. I remember in my human rights activist days when I used to visit jails and used to take up the cause of untrial prisoners. There was delay, but there was trust too. We used to give them relief from intervention in the High Court and otherwise. But yes, there are problems, there are loads. India's population is too huge, expectations are huge, dependency is also huge. How do we address these problems? I would, in very concrete, give some bullet points. I think all my young friends who are listening to me must understand we can have alternative dispute redressal mechanism, which we are expanding in a very, very big way. But as far as criminal law is concerned, criminal justice can only be delivered by a regular court system. Because Criminal justice delivery is the sovereign power of the state, which cannot be outsourced, except in case of minor disputes where compromise, etc., can be done also in the Gram Panchayat Nyaya, etc. But the penal law of India, that is what the essence of a democratic governance is about. What we have done, and I am very clear that as government, as law minister, my job is to give infrastructure, create enabling atmosphere, pass appropriate laws which judiciary commends or society demands, like triple talaq, you just mentioned to me. What was triple talaq? It was a quest for gender justice for women who were victimized by this very insidious evil practice. Other laws have also come. What we have done, ladies and gentlemen, that apart from enhancing the infrastructure, just to give you one example, this centrally sponsored scheme is going on since the year 93-94. Out of that, till today, 55% expenditure has been done by the Narendra Modi government. The court halls have risen from 15,000 to 20,000. Today, 18,000 plus court complexes of India have become digitally enabled. For my friends of technology who are today in this meeting, let me share with them a very unique product, National Judicial Data Grid. In this National Judicial Data Grid, you'll be happy to know that there is exact case information with elastic search technology of 18.66 crore cases pending in High Court, District Court, and Subordinate Court. At a click of a button, you can know about this progress. And it houses 14.52 crore orders and judgments. Therefore, just at a click of the button, all these details are available. And how I use it? My system in my department picks up 10-year-old criminal cases, criminal appeal pending in district courts of India. And I write to the chiefs of High Court, please ensure they are expedited. And yes, it is going there is some marked improvement because of that. National e-thal, e-filing, training of judges, training of lawyers, all these things are going on. I would like to hear from Symbiosis Law School some concrete, pragmatic solutions as to how to expedite criminal justice delivery more effectively. The issue of sexual offenses, abuse, children's sexual abuse came to our notice. We changed the law. I did not go into details. Even capital punishment has been awarded in the case of a child subject to sexual abuse. But the fast track court was expedited. Today, nearly 350 to 400 dedicated POSCO courts are there, and 49,000 cases have been disposed of. I'm not very happy. We have to expedite it more and more because COVID came in between, affecting trial. And Shashikalaji, I would like to hear from you and your team one particular issue of challenge, this plea bargaining. There is a provision in law. You are smiling because you know the problem. The problem is plea bargaining is for small offenses. For bigger offenses, there is a social pressure and requirement of pushing it. The social pressure is if you go for plea bargaining, then you acknowledge your guilt. And you are acknowledging your guilt for lesser punishment. The society presses, the family presses, why you go for plea bargaining? Go for trial and get a clean acquittal. That is a competing interest which we have to address. But I must say, technology is playing a very, very crucial role. Since I'm going to address the issue of internet and social media in the other segment of my observations, I would briefly touch the issue of cyber crime and need for cyber forensic and reinforcement of cyber wall. That's a big challenge, I must tell you. And Dr. Majumdar, I would recommend to you that India needs good cyber forensic institutions. Since your institution has expanded in all the various disciplines, and rightly so with great excellence, I would recommend to you that Symbiosis must consider a good, dedicated cyber forensic discipline in your vast campus. Because this challenge is going to be an important challenge in the coming years. Already, in my capacity as an IT minister, I'm personally pursuing it. Need for greater skilling in cyber area for government officers, for law enforcers, for academia, for police personnel, for law enforcement agencies. And those who commit cyber forensics are not 100, but 1,000 steps ahead of us. They're brilliant people with a devilish mind. Therefore, this is skilling, this training is very, very important. When you talk of criminal law, we must understand that cyber crime is occupying an important component of criminal law today. They keep on pilfering your money from your digital card. They keep on attacking your bank account. They keep on slipping your vital documents. And most important, certainly international operators create havoc with the entire e-system, be it power, be it banking, etc., as happened suddenly about 2 days ago in case of power. Therefore, this is my recommendation to you that as your institution has done brilliantly, maybe you may be doing it, I'm not aware, but there has to be a dedicated cyber forensic, cyber training, and cyber course segment in your vast discipline which you have in your institution. I'm very happy to share with you that we have set up an online postgraduate diploma in cyber law, cyber crime, and investigation and digital forensics with the National Law University, Bhopal. And to my pleasant surprise, I must tell you that we started it in November, in the height of pandemic, Dr. Sashikala, and about 55 district and session judges have got the training. 41 public prosecutors have got training. 285 police officers of the rank of ADG, IG, DIGs, and SP have got the training. And officers, about 200 officers from custom, direct taxes all have. It's a brilliant scope. I would recommend that law graduates with special training in cyber laws are going to make very good opening for them in the emerging India which we are developing. I don't want to labor on what kind of lok adalats we are doing. Large number of lok adalats are going on. National Judicial Data Grid I've already talked about. But some significant changes which we have done is application of technology, virtual courts. We have set up 12 virtual courts, Dr. Majumdar, in the case of your basically violations of traffic rules. People have to go to courts and all these things. And we'll be happy to know that these courts have heard 3.5 lakh cases and realized penalty worth 55 crores in fines. That is the potential of virtual courts. In Delhi, about 34 digital courts have been set up in case of check bouncing, etc. Therefore, apart from conventional cases of murder trial, other conventional crimes under the penal code, which requires session trial and others, we need to speed up and supplement virtual disposal of criminal cases, which can be handled virtually. That is going to be a very, very big role as far as faster criminal justice delivery is concerned. And yes, we have to make a larger narrative of India's narration in the ease of doing business, because justice delivery forms an important part of ease of doing business. India was ranked 134 overall, Professor Majumdar, in 2014. Now in 20, we have come to 71 rank. We have jumped more than 63 numbers. In the ease of doing business for dedicated commercial courts, we have also gone very high. Then in enforcing contract is also a parameter. India in 2014 was 186. Now it is 163. There is scope for improvement. But what is important is we need to understand that access to justice is a part of good governance. And that policymakers will have to understand, law faculties will have to understand, law graduates will have to understand, administrators of law will have to understand, and with respect, judges will also have to understand that access to justice, faster justice, particularly in the criminal part of good governance. And now India is treated with great respect globally. Therefore, access to justice, I am not going to give some time or more time on how we are developing India as a center of arbitration globally. We have set up we have changed the law whereby we are going to encourage institutional arbitration in India. India has become how to grade the institutional arbitrations by a proper arbitration council. We're going to set up in Delhi a big global level New Delhi arbitration center. All these things we are doing and we propose to do. This takes me as far as your access to justice is concerned. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I come to the second issue of social media. I know it is a very interesting topic, and in many ways it has become a hot topic also in the light of recent developments. Okay, I would like to touch every issue of it. We live in the digital age. Digital age is an age which is borderless, not caged by geography. At a click of a button in Pune, you can know what is happening far away in Colombia or Panama or Cuba, in North Latin America. This borderless world creates opportunity, also poses challenges. Let me just talk of opportunity. Mr. Majumdar, let me share with you something very interesting vision which our Prime Minister gave. In the year 2014, when he was campaigning for India to win the elections, which he won handsomely in 1902, he said, if I am elected the Prime Minister, I'll try to create an India where IT plus IT is equal to IT. I was sitting by his side in Ramila ground. All of us became surprised. He said, I wish to create an India where IT, India's talent, plus IT, information technology, is equal to IT, India tomorrow. That is the vision he gave. And I never knew that he will give the heavy load of this vision on my small shoulders. Okay, execute it. Digital India was born from there. What is Digital India? Digital India, simply put, is designed to empower ordinary Indians with the power of technology. Number one. Number two, bridge the digital divide between digital haves and digital have-nots. And number three, bring in digital inclusion. And this must be achieved through technology, which is homegrown, low cost, and inclusive. That is the simple meaning of Digital India. How we have changed India through digital technology. Dr. Majumdar, I am very happy to tell you, and to all my friends who are listening to me, India's population 1.3 billion plus, 130 crore plus. India has Aadhaar card 1.29 billion, 129 crore. India has phone asset nearly 1.2 billion, 120 crore, mobile and landline. India has a smartphone 70 crore plus, 700 million. What is a smartphone? A moving computer. India has internet use 700 million plus. Therefore, this is the digital asset of India. And how we have used this asset for the use of common man. Now you must understand, Dr. Vidya and Professor Majumdar, you are a man of botany, a man of science. Digital India is different from IT services because sitting in Pune, one of the big centers of Indian IT services. IT services is services. Indian company went and set up their shop in more than 200 cities of 80 countries of the world, including USA. Digital India is empowering for the common man. This distinction has to be understood. How we are able to benefit the common man? We open up nearly 40 crore, 400 million bank account of the poor, link that with Aadhaar, the digital identity, to supplement the physical identity. And started sending all the welfare measures to the bank account of the poor. Gas subsidy, ration subsidy, Manrega payment, scholarship, whatnot, which we call direct benefit transfer, DBT. We have sent close to 16 lakh crore plus in the last 6 years. And we have saved 1,80,000 crores, which used to be pocketed by middlemen or fictitious recipients. Digital governance is good governance. E-scholarship, e-visa, e-market. You'll be happy to know, Professor Majumdar, that we have given 1 lakh crore to 10 crore farmers, 2,000 rupees each farmer every 3 months, 6,000 crore, at a click of a button. You press the button, money goes in your account. This DBT has become a unique phenomenon of the world. UPI. India has become the biggest fintech movement in the world. GSTN. 1 crore 20 lakh traders today are the GST platform. Ayushman Bharat. 5 lakh you get if you are poor of a category in any hospital. Crores of people are on Ayushman Bharat. Aadhaar, GSTN, UPI, fintech movement, digital payments. And during this COVID, Dr. Majumdar will be happy to tell you that my postman went with the Aadhaar-enabled payment system and gave the poor people, with the money which the Prime Minister sent or a state government sent, 12,000 crores at a simple app they were having, and with a thumb impression. There is no bank, there is no other payment outlet. E-Visa, E-Kisan. Therefore, I'm very happy that by digital ecosystem, we have been able to change India. And just to give you how India is changing, our IT ecosystem, in which Pune has played a very great role, employs nearly 45 lakh people directly, 1/3 are women, and 1 crore 15-20 lakh indirectly, 1/3 women. I have set up a common service center movement. I would like Dr. Vidya to have some study on them by all of you. There were hardly 70,000 when they came to power in 2014. I have taken it to nearly 4 lakhs. They are digital kiosks in the hinterland of India. They give government services, they make land records, they do digital schooling, they give you railway tickets, etc. I asked them, use them for pre-litigation advice for poor people in the hinterland of India by you leveraging the services of National Legal Service Authority, paralegal volunteers. Shashikala, you'll be very happy to know that we've been able to give 9 lakh advices to them through assigned lawyer panels who appear in remote village, a daughter-in-law being distraught by her in-laws, a poor farmer laborer not getting his due. What are the legal avenues available to you? I took a chance, and this pro bono has become this tele-law has become a big movement. Pro bono, lawyers must come to serve. And I'm very happy that even Symbiosis is on board with that pro bono movement. I wish to compliment. Before I come to social media, there is an appeal I have to make to the law student of your esteemed university. Become a law graduate, earn very well in law practice, earn tons of money in law firm, but keep a heart for the poor and underprivileged. And to my young friends, I would like to draw upon my own personal experience. In my introduction, you all have heard about my role as a human rights activist for trial prisoners. Dr. Shashikala, early 80s, one day I heard in newspaper in Patna that one Mohammadin Mia was in jail for 49 years. How could he remain in jail for 49 years? I filed a PIL in the name of my human rights body seeking his release. My goodness, those were the initial days of PIL. What a big dressing down I was given by the judge. You young lawyers don't have manner. Is it the way to file a case on the basis of a news report? Finally, notice was issued on the precondition that if the news was found to be incorrect, I will suffer consequence. I took this bait. It came in the newspaper. One day, an elderly person came from Assam. He said, you are Ravi Shankar Prasad? Yes. You have filed this case? Yes. Mohammadin Mia is my uncle. My father died in 49, and he has taken a vow from me that I will search his father. I work in Assam. Every year I come to Motihari, from where they hailed, a North Indian district in Bihar, and spend my months. But one day I had gone, and SDO said, go and meet this lawyer. He has filed the case of your uncle. Then I learned in the year 1927, he was arrested in an attempt to murder case. And because he had some problem in mind at that point in time, his trial was stayed because he must be in a mental condition to face the trial. And the society forgot him. How would you identify your uncle? I was a kid, my father said, he has a big ball over the forehead. I got permission for him to meet his uncle. I got him released. I got him a princely compensation of 25,000 then for his incarceration for 49 years. I still remember Mohammadin Mia came to meet me after being released by court order from Hazaribagh. And the faint smile of hope I saw on his face, it still remains fresh in my mind. And my young friends, why I said this particular personal experience, destiny has been kind to me. I became a senior advocate at a very young age, modestly became a well-known lawyer in Patna High Court, Supreme Court in spite of my political commitments, became an MP at a young age, minister in the Bajpayee government at a young age, now a senior minister in Narendra Modi government. In spite of all these accomplishments, that faint smile of hope of Muhyiddin Mia remains one of the biggest trophies of my life. That's how I see you must have an ear for the poor. And therefore, I don't know, Madam, what kind of courses are undertaken to have some kind of a commitment for the underprivileged. I always say this should remain there. Now, this vast expansion of internet has also raised issues. One is the right of access. The right of access is an issue of great debate. There came the issue of net neutrality. And the issue became very current in America. Net must be neutral. Anyone can access. The companies did not agree. It is my property. We have developed it. I said I bypassed this issue. I gave a commitment on the floor of the House in the Parliament that right of access of internet is not negotiable. My good friend Mark Zuckerberg, we have been met a number of times. He wanted to set up a system of free basics in India. A lot of campaign, you may recall, Dr. Vidya, a lot of ads on television, big posters and all, billboards. He also rang me up, please help me. Then I was the communication minister in the first term of Mr. Narendra Modi government. When I read his architecture, I found that it was free if you entered through the gate of Facebook. You know, free basics means one gate of Mr. Zuckerberg, Facebook. If you enter through that gate, everything is free. I told him I would never allow it. India is a democracy. India believes in many gates. Okay. And I did not allow him because that would have clearly impinged upon the right of access. The next issue came, is the internet a part of fundamental right? Well, the Supreme Court had said we are not deciding this issue. But they have surely said that internet is a part of the freedom of speech and expression, 19.1. Because if it is an integral to speech and expression, it is also subject to 19.2 of the fundamental right. Reasonable restrictions in pursuit of sovereignty, integrity of India, security of India, blah, blah, blah. The third issue comes is the right of privacy. The right of privacy, Dr. Vidya, is often the current debate, hot topic in the country. Yes, we all respect the right of privacy. When the Supreme Court gave the judgment that privacy is a right inherent of right to life under Article 21, I, as a law and IT minister, publicly appreciated in a press conference. But the Supreme Court has also said a terrorist does not have a right of privacy. A criminal or a corrupt person does not have a right to privacy. Otherwise, police cannot investigate. Because the moment police goes to investigate, he says, sorry, you're invading my right of privacy. The Supreme Court has also said innovation cannot be killed under the garb of privacy. And Dr. Vidya, I would like to just tell you how India has changed. India today has 50,000 registered startups. India has become the third biggest startup movement in the world. Out of this, 52 are unicorns. Unicorns means having revenue of $1 billion, 7,000 crores. And they are expected to be 150 unicorns by the year 2025. I'm very proud of this young man. I still remember in Economic Times Excellence Award, I had gone to Bangalore to give award. One young man, hardly 22 or 21, got the first prize of about ₹1 million. I said, young man, you are so brilliant. What will you do? I will establish my startup and soon become a unicorn. It was refreshing to see this kind of hope and ambition of young men playing on computer. I was mentioning about electronic manufacturing, Professor Majumdar. When I had become a minister in 2014, India had only 2 mobile factories, 2. Now India has become the second biggest mobile manufacturer in the world. 260 mobile factories have come. And we come with PLI, production link incentive. Apple, Samsung, all have come to India. And they are making, during COVID, I announced the incentive. They have already started production of 54,000 crore, employing 30,000 people. And for me personally, I can share with you, Professor Majumdar, 14 factories of Apple, mobile manufacturing and component, were shifted from China to India during COVID. That is the potential of India, which I would like to highlight. I'm very happy about this whole digital ecosystem. This brings me to the social media issue. And that I would like to share with you. But I know some of my young friends are keen to hear me on the emerging challenge. I'm very happy that social media platforms are a byproduct of the internet spread globally. They enable people to exchange their ideas, their views, and empower. Just to tell you, in India, Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Twitter, Coup, and others, there are 134 crore plus people on these platforms. And since many of the platforms are having common users also, the total 100 crore Indians are using social media today. And I'm very happy as an IT minister. Why not? India is getting empowered. They ask questions, tough questions. They criticize the prime minister. They criticize me. They ask questions. At times, they criticize the professors also. No problem. I see it as a sign of empowerment of India, the capacity, the inclination, the ambition to ask questions. In that way, social media has done a good job. But of late, while the positive aspect of social media is well appreciated, there also emerge negative trends. And what are the negative trends? Fake news. Women being displayed naked, her dignity being compromised. Dr. Vidya, I'm sharing a question with you. This I always have to face it as an IT minister. A mother comes to me that the ex-boyfriend of my daughter is making her intimate photographs viral. What should I do? Should I say, go and complain to America, as Twitter says? A woman comes to me that my morph image is being circulated and recirculated. What should I do? A young businessman comes to me, my competitors have unleashed such a big negative social media campaign against me based upon fake news that I'm going to get completely drawn. What should I do? Journalists, politicians, we are used to criticism, no problem. Even judges, Dr. Majumdar, now a new trend has developed. If a case is, I appreciate PIL. I've been a supporter of PIL. I've done some very big PIL case. This whole Lalu Prasad conviction in forgery scam is because of PIL I argued in the forgery scam for CBI inquiry, the bituminous scam. I'm happy. But a new trend is developing. They file PIL. They'll start a campaign on social media. But in this case, we want this type of judgment. And if this type of judgment doesn't come, then judges are trolled. Judges have told me. What should we do? Judges should be left completely free to decide a case as per their conscience, understanding of law. That's what independence of judiciary is about. this guideline which we have done hasn't come suddenly. And I would like my distinguished audience to know about it. There was a judgment in the Pranjula case in 2018, where the Supreme Court directed us to frame a guideline in case of unfortunate display of nudity of women, of children sexual abuse. Then there was a case of Facebook in the year September 2019, where judges have ordered if a message is getting viral, which is causing mayhem, violence, etc., there must be a legal framework to address them. There was a parliamentary debate, commitment on fake news, etc., by me in 2018. Venkaiah Naidu has set up a committee as Vice President of Rajya Sabha MPs to do something about abuse of children, sexual abuse. They have given the recommendation. Wide-scale consultation. Thereafter, we have come with a guideline. In 5 minutes, I will just tell what the guidelines are about and I'll conclude. What are these guidelines? Number one, you must set up all the significant social media platform. What is significant? Having 50 lakh or more users. The guideline came into effect on 25th of February 2021. Me and Prakash Chowdekar gave it. And we gave them 3 months' time. What they have to do? First, set up a grievance redressal officer based in India with address, phone number, email properly displayed. Anyone can file his or her grievance there. That is the role of a grievance redressal officer. Then appoint a compliance officer whose duty would be to give a monthly report in public domain as to how many complaints were filed and how many have been disposed of, redressed. And third is a nodal officer for contact with the agencies, security agencies. Now, Dr. Vidya, am I asking for the moon to have 3 officers of their employee based in India? That's one. Second, have a mechanism in the platform for voluntary verification of your users. Government is out of it. You tell them, you please identify yourself. If the account is identified, give a tick. So that if you open your social media, a lot of people gives gyan to you with their mustaches, with their hair, hat like, no name is there, nothing like that. I have no problem. Only voluntarily identify your account with your platform. What is the third thing we have done? In case of WhatsApp messaging, we have only said a message which has already become viral. Remember, I am not seeking to know the content. A message which has already become viral, because of which riots are taking place, murder is taking place, terrorism is taking place, mayhem is taking place, or a lady's nude photograph or sexual act are being made viral, or a children's sexual abuse photograph is made viral. Only these 4 circumstances. Then you will have to disclose who is the first originator of this nuisance. Remember, I am not seeking to know the content. The content is viral, which has led to violence or crime. You have to disclose that only. And if the message has come from outside the border of India, who lapped it up in India first? The first originator has been disclosed. Either by a court order, by authority under 69A, and this shall be required only and only when other intrusive process has not proved effective. These are the basic requirements. I am being given lecture, democracy, freedom of speech. Let me say with great sense of responsibility, which I have said in many of my television interviews, and let me repeat emphatically. India does not need lecture on freedom and freedom of speech and democracy from profit-making company. It's staying in America. When Indians company go to do business in America, do they follow American laws or not? Ask the IT companies in Pune, they are having outfits in America. Do they follow American laws or not? Ask the pharma companies in Pune who have bases in America in manufacturing of pharma products. Do they follow American laws or not? You earn good money, no problem. Earn tons of money, no problem. India is a big digital market, no problem. Criticize the Prime Minister, criticize me, ask tough questions. But why will you not obey Indian laws? If you do business in India, you have to follow India's constitution and India's laws. Be very clear about it. What is democracy? We have free and fair election. Recently, we won Assam. We lost Bengal, the Vidhan Sabha election. An independent judiciary. In COVID, you may have seen judiciary ask very tough questions, at time more than what is required. Then the Supreme Court has set right many of their adventurism also. But good, course correction is there. Media, civil society. I'm talking to the big crowd of Symbiosis. I'll take questions also. Therefore, free election, people assertive, people asking questions, independent judiciary, parliament, media, exchange. That's what democracy is about. Therefore, these profit companies should not lecture us on democracy. And as a good friend of mine very aptly wrote, Mr. Majumdar, you may have remember that Remington typewriter was very popular earlier. One gentleman, Remington, invented it. On this Remington typewriter, the UN Human Rights Declaration was typed. Now, will the Remington say that it was we who produced it? You are a platform, Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, good luck, but you are a commercial entity. The social cause is by the users. This has to be understood. Therefore, these are the general issues. Appreciate social media have empowered ordinary Indians, appreciate they are asking questions. But as I said earlier, let me give it in conclusion. These guidelines don't deal with the use of social media. They deal with the abuse and misuse of social media and give the users of social media a forum for redressal of their grievances. That's all these things about. So I thought I must very, in concrete bullet point, I must explain the essence. Mr. Majumdar, it was a pleasure meeting you and talking to this great institution, Symbiosis, to your faculty, to the Vice Chancellor, the Pro-Chancellor and everyone. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I have tried my best to address the issue in my limited way of understanding. I hope I have not bored you. Thank you.
Sir, I just want to come in, Bindu, just a minute. Sir, we have a Symbiosis Institute of Digital and Telecommunications, and in fact, in cybersecurity and forensic sciences, we are training some officials from RBI. And I remember the incident when Honorable Prime Minister was in Pune, when my father, Dr. Majumdar, and I went to meet him, and he made a special mention of Symbiosis creating a cyber and forensic sciences institute.
I am very happy to hear it.
Yes, sir. And in fact, he told me that aap Gujarat jaake aao and see the Forensic Sciences Institute there, and Symbiosis should do something.
आप अपने इंस्टीट्यूट को अपने सारे ब्रांचेस में एस्टैब्लिश करो, ठीक है? और हमारे आईटी से भी कोऑर्डिनेट करो. Happy to hear it.
Thank you very much, sir, for talking to us on both the topics, actually, instead of restricting yourself to one. And it was extremely enlightening. I must say that we have a prime minister with a vision for the country, and we have leaders like you who actualize that vision which is put before you. And definitely it is because of the passion with which you take up the responsibility that is entrusted in you. So after this very erudite lecture, we have there are a lot of questions that are there, and we will have a brief session of the question and answer with your permission.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And so let's. I will begin with the questions, and I request the persons whose names are going to be announced to please put on your videos and also unmute yourself and ask the question. I request Dr. Dhanaji Jadhav to unmute yourself and ask your question. Dr. Dhanaji Jadhav is an associate professor at Symbiosis Law School, Pune. So, can we have your question?
Thank you, sir, for your brilliant speech. As an academician, I would like to ask just only one question. Since legal profession is considered to be one of the noble profession of the society, and the very nobility of the legal profession, it lies into the quality of legal education. When it comes to the quality of legal education in recent past, legal education, it has assumed the great significance and it is a priority choice of lakhs of the student. So as to maintain the standard and the quality of legal education, why can't be there a legal council at a parallel footing like Medical Council of India to monitor the standard of legal education, or else the existing bar council be restructured as such so as to monitor the standard and highest parameters and yardstick of legal education in the country?
Well, my reply is very simple. Did the Pune Symbiosis law faculty has to wait for reform in the bar council? Did not. You set up an institution and you set up a global benchmark. The National Law School movement. I have said this simple Patna Law College is a great tradition for the last 100 years. It went to decline. But today, I remember from my professional capacity, many of the National Law School's lawyers assisted me, and I was impressed by the quality of their training and understanding. This is how let the competitive atmosphere come. But you have a point that like MCI reform, there is a scope for bar council reform. It must be done in consultation with the bar council. It is an autonomous body. But I must tell you, I am also going to start a big reform movement in the Indian judiciary by going to set up All India Judicial Service. It is a work in progress. It is a work in progress because I have to talk to judges. If India can have an IAS, Indian Administrative Service, Indian Foreign Service, Indian Police Service, why we can't have it? All India Judicial Service.
Sir, start Indian Education Service also.
Okay. Where we can have lawyers having 7-8 years, become additional district judges at young age, work there for 8-9 years through All India competitive examination, work at district judges, come to the High Court. There can also be a scope for reservations like IAS, IPS. That is a work in progress. Therefore, that far-reaching reform I'm already doing. Okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
And also legal services, sir, for all ministries to have law expertise as a mandate.
No. I must tell you one thing very clearly. If you have only lawyer simpliciter, then you'll also have problem. Okay? You must have a lawyer with political upbringing also. That is very important. Yes, next question. Go ahead.
There's this wish list that has already come before you now. We go to the next question, and can I ask Mr. Himanshu MJ? He is a BPA LLB student from the first year. Himanshu, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
A very good afternoon, sir. I'm Himanshu MJ from Symbiosis Law School, Pune. My question is that with Twitter losing its third-party legal immunity under Section 79 for the failure in complying with the much debated latest IT Act, now even possibly holding them criminally liable, at what stage in the near future can we see these social media sites being held liable since the false information is spread numerous times every single day?
I'm very happy that you are also sharing the concern which I as a lawmaker share. First of all, I have not made them lose their intermediate status under Section 79. The guideline which we have framed after widest consultation, White Clause 7 clearly provided that in the event you don't comply with the guideline, it will have impact on your exemption under Section 79, and also you'll be liable to suffer various penal laws consequences. The 3 months period, young man exhausted on the 26th of May. I said, no, I will give them extra time by way of goodwill gesture. He did not comply. Therefore, it has exhausted because of the consequence of law, not because of me. Now, what will happen? I am not here. They have to reply. Court proceedings, investigation proceeding, that they have to respond, not I have to respond. But yes, I want to make it very clear, I'm not in the business of banning any particular platform. My take is very simple. Do business in India, earn good money, good profit, but follow the laws of India. That's very clear. And I've also said India's digital sovereignty is important. That's how I see it.
Now, may I ask Ms. Namrata Chakravarti, who's an LLM student, to ask her question.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. It's my immense pleasure to hear your insightful words. Sir, I'm a student from Symbiosis Law School, Pune, and LLM I'm criminal law specialization. Sir, my question to you is, on one hand, we see that the constant rise of under trials in India, and on the other hand, there is not so effective implementation of Section 436A, CRPC, or any other bail provisions. So, sir, at this moment, do you think the country needs certain viable under trial related reforms in order to ensure the timely compliance of legal provisions by the law enforcement authorities as well as the judiciary, sir?
I don't think you need to have a reform. There is, you rightly invoke 436. What does it say? If you have served more than 50% of your proposed sentence in the event of a trial, you are liable for bail. I have written letters. The Supreme Court has passed orders. So the simple thing is, and I also set up a committee at the district level with the district magistrate, district judge. You please sit. And in case of women, probably I remember my consensus will reduce you to 25% of the proposed sentence if you are in jail as an under trial prisoner. These are basically issues of compliance. But as you know, as an LLM student, ultimately the release order has to be given by the district judge or additional district judge, not the law minister or the collector. That's the problem. They have to expedite. I have also written to all the High Court judges, Chief Justices, to ensure that this is expedited.
Thank you, sir. We have the next question from Ms. Divyanshi Singh. She's also a first-year student, a BA LLB student from Symbiosis Law School, Noida.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, it was a pleasure to hear you today. I am Divyanshi Singh, a first-year BA LLB student from Symbiosis Law School, Noida. So my question is basically about the data protection law in India. So could you please enlighten us with the status of data protection law in India and what the government intends to do to protect our data on social media platforms?
I'm so happy, young girl, you have asked this question. I'm proud of you. Data protection law is presently under scrutiny by the Select Committee of the Parliament, headed by Meenakshi Lekhi. They are doing a good job. The moment the Select Committee recommendations are placed before the Parliament, I will push for it. In essence, what we are doing, we are saying you cannot use the data of an Indian without his or her consent. Data must be processed to the extent consented by the individual. Yes, data can also go outside if there is a consent in a group, etc. I'm very keen that India should become a big center of data processing, data cleaning, data innovation. That's how we have to work it out. And I'm very clear that India's data protection law will be a very fine beacon for the world. And many parts of the world are waiting for our data protection law. As my social media guideline is also being debated globally. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll take one last question, and we have Rajeshwari Kala. She's an MBBS student of Symbiosis. Rajeshwari, can we have you ask your question? Please unmute yourself and also put on your video.
A very good afternoon, sir. Foremost, I would like to thank you for this very informative and stimulating session. Especially the points about cyber forensic and unicorn were so new to me and have given, I'm sure, every one of us something to ponder upon. My question to you would be, what precautions have been taken for privacy and civil rights protection, and what precautions can we as students take for the same?
Thank you for the kind words. The first precaution you need to take, don't leave your mobile phone to unknown person. The first precaution. The second precaution, never entertain any message giving you lucrative incentives. Invest here, invest there, you'll get so much of money. Never do that. If anyone is seeking to pester you, make complaint immediately. Okay? And this grievance redressal officer is basically also designed to do that. Okay? If you feel that there is unusual movement of your digital accounts, immediate report. These are the precautions which you must take in a minimum, because now mobile phone and digital platforms are a part of our life. The second issue of privacy, I already said that. We have explained in detail what privacy is, what privacy is not. Professor Majumdar, I have a problem in Delhi. And that is something very interesting. I would like to also share with Dr. Shashikala. The biggest campaigner of right to information have of late become the biggest campaigner of right to privacy.
Yes.
When they become the campaigner for right to information, they want everything into what Ravi Shankar Prasad writes in the file, they must know. Now they have become the biggest campaigner right to privacy. No problem. They should take it like that. But what is important is privacy must have a pragmatic approach. And I have always said, I take it in the context of data innovation, data utility, data design, enabling India to become a big data economy, and data privacy. All have to work together. And if we work together, we create opportunity and also ensure safety and security.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, with that, we will close the question answer session. And as we come to the end of this lecture, which is part of the Symbiosis Golden Jubilee lecture series, I will take this opportunity to thank everyone. But I'll begin with thanking Honorable Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, sir. So your presence, even though it has been on a virtual mode, is something we are very, very privileged to have. Your very eloquent and erudite lecture on the topic of social media and social security and criminal justice reforms and unfinished agenda was something which we wish we could go on hearing, with time being not a barrier. Your work in the areas that are under your leadership is something hugely appreciated by the young and the old. In fact, there have been so many messages that have come saying that you are the role model of so many over here, the students at Symbiosis. You have actually brought about so many reforms in the legal field, and it shows your passion to the cause that you take up. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for talking to our students, faculty, staff, alumni, and all the guests who have logged on to listen to you. We are so happy and privileged that you are with us today. Your very eloquent and erudite lecture that you delivered on the two topics, that is social media and social security and criminal justice and criminal reforms and unfinished agenda, was something that we could have gone on listening, with time being not a barrier. You have worked in so many areas, sir, and your leadership is something that is hugely appreciated by our young students, because I have so many messages which said that you are their role model.
Oh,
You've actually you brought about many, many reforms, and it shows the passion for the cause that you take up. So thank you so much for talking to our students, faculty, staff, alumni, and everybody who has logged on. I also want to thank Majumdar sir, Vidya ma'am, Rajni Gupte ma'am for the leadership that they provide to this institution, and the vision and the dedication and the cause to education that they show, and the way in which they lead the organization. I must also place on record the support that we received from Professor Dr. Rajendra Prasad Gupta, professor at Patliputra University and Vice President of BJP Bihar and member of Legislative Council Bihar, in ensuring that we could organize this event. I thank Dr. Gurpur, Symbiosis Director, Symbiosis Law School, Pune, for her part in organizing this event, and all the directors of all the institutions of Symbiosis International University. I thank all the students, alumni, faculty, and staff of Symbiosis International University, and also our esteemed guests who have joined us today from the city of Pune, from various parts of the country, and also our international friends who have logged in. As we close this event, sir, I do want to try and extract a promise from you that you will grace us with your physical presence at Symbiosis International University.
Yes.
All right, I give my promise.
Yeah.
We will be waiting for that day once everything opens up.
Yeah, I will come. Now my promise to you. Surely, why not?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.